Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to another language coaching lesson. And today I want to talk to you about levels of English. We have practiced different answers according to different levels of English in previous lessons. Now, right now, I would like to really explain what it means to have a certain level of English, right? And I will read you the definition of the level, and then I will explain more or less how you can identify if you are in this level or not, okay? So, first things first, we need to understand that all languages in the world have this classification, right? Which is pre-A1 with the thing that they call zero English. Then we have the beginner levels, which are A1 and A2. Then we have the intermediate levels that are B1 and B2. And finally, we have the advanced levels, C1, C2, proficiency, the advanced stuff for teachers, for professors. Some academic purposes need a call for this level, okay? But intermediate and pre-intermediate is more or less B1 and B2 is more or less what people do. Intermediate and high intermediate, okay? Most students of English as a speaker, as a foreign language, English as a foreign language, most speakers and students get to the A2 level, which is the pre-intermediate. So being in the intermediate or high intermediate is good, you know. You get to the independence in the language where you can do anything, right? And survive in almost any situation, be it academic or social, okay? So the intermediate level is the one that I suggest people aim to, right? Like I suggest that you try to get to an intermediate or high intermediate level or B1, B2 level. And if you want, you get to the C1 or C2 if you want to, right? But don't stop there at the A2 level, which is what usually people do, right? They think that they can manage and they stop there, but actually we need to continue. And this is the thing that I want to talk about. How do we know? Because some people think that they are at an intermediate level, but actually they are in a A1 or A2 level. Okay, so understanding English and being able to answer questions is not having an intermediate language or performance in the language. An A1 level, for example, it says here, can understand and use familiar everyday expressions and very basic phrases aimed at the satisfaction of needs of a concrete type. Can introduce himself and others and can ask and answer questions about personal details like where she lives or he lives, people he knows, things and activities he or she usually does, and can interact in a simple way provided the other person talks slowly and clearly and is prepared to help. So, talking about your routine and your friend's routine is more or less an A1 level. So if we are having problems conjugating third person singular, because when I'm talking about myself, I say I wake up, I sleep, I work, right? But when I'm using he or she, I should say she wakes up, she works, she sleeps, right? When we're having problems with the third person singular, talking about people we know, it means that our A1 level is there. There's not a very stable base in our A1 level, okay? So we can use the present perfect, for example, in our life, but if we still don't really assimilate third person singular, routines, days of the week, months, likes, hobbies and all that, we are not in an A1 fully intermediate, for example, level, if we're having problems with the third person singular, okay? So try to analyze your performance related to this. Now, A2 level, what's the difference? You can communicate simple routine, right? And tasks requiring a simple and direct exchange of information on familiar and routine matters. You can describe in simple terms aspects of your background, immediate environment, and matters in areas of immediate need. So what is this? You have, for example, expressions related to areas of relevance for you, which is your family, shopping, local geography, employment, what you do, right? So if you need to travel, or even for a business or pleasure, it's good to have an A2 level, because you can not only talk about you and your friends, but also you can describe what you do, what your country is like. Have you tried describing tereré, for example? Can you do that? Think about it. Are you able to describe this? Are you able to describe Paraguayan food? So you should, if you want to get to an A2 level, okay? And describe certain things, in your background, in your office, in your house, in your city. Okay, so asking for directions, for example, is part of that. Having vocabulary about places in town is also part of that, okay? So think about that, and we'll see later, right, in other lessons, how you do with this. Now, we have the B1 and B2 levels. You can, in a B1 level, understand the main points of clear standard input on familiar matters regularly encountered in work, school, leisure, etc. Then you can deal with most situations likely to arise while traveling in an area where the language is spoken. Okay, so in a B1 level, you can be thrown in the middle of New York City with no Spanish speakers, which is almost impossible. And with no problem, you will interact, you will have friends, you will understand everything, right? You can describe experiences and events, dreams, hopes, and visions, and briefly give reasons and explanations for opinions and plans. So this means that your simple past is good, because you can really talk about past events, experiences. Is present perfect, so you do an assertive use of the present perfect. You can talk about the future using the future tense. All of this is part of a B1 level in the language, okay? And you can really deal with almost everything that may happen in the workplace, in your family, with friends, okay? So in here, in the B1 level, we manage simple tenses, and we can also manage the present perfect, okay? We can talk about the future, the past, and experiences, which is present perfect. Okay, if we have to think about tenses, right? Of course, there are so many things that we need to consider. Now, a B2 level can understand the main ideas of complex text on both concrete and abstract topics. So abstract topics come up here, including technical discussions and any field of specialization. You can interact with a degree of fluency and spontaneity that makes regular interaction with native speakers quite possible without strain for either party. So you should be able to have a normal conversation with a native speaker, and you will not need help from the other person so they can level down their language, for example, for you to understand. And you should be able to communicate without any problems, okay? You can produce clear and detailed text, so you can have to, write like essays on a wide range of subjects, and explain a viewpoint on a topical issue, giving the advantages and disadvantages of various options. So this is the level that a lot of students that take the TOEFL want to have. But if you want to have an advanced level, it's just not that you have to produce detailed text, but you need to give certain other characteristics to your text, okay? So let's stop right here, and in another video I talk about advanced levels, okay? So to recap, think about your production in language, okay? Can you talk about your routine and your friends' routine, your family routine? Okay, A1 level is around there. Can you talk about not only your routine, but also work-related stuff? Describe your surroundings, your workplace, your house, your city, your country. Okay, we are around A2. Can you talk about the past, the future, and experiences you've had with no problem in conjugation of irregulars? That's a B1 level. And can you do that, but also use technical vocabulary and write coherently? Okay, that is why to our intermediate students, we do essay writing, we teach them that, and other things about writing, organizing your ideas for longer periods of time for speaking and writing, okay? So think about your own language performance and try to understand if you are in that level. And if you're not and you want to get to the next level, start thinking about strategies that will get you there, okay? We are here to help you find strategies to get to the next level of your English communication, okay? So think about where you are and what you can do. And if you need help, here we are. Thank you.